Hey friends, Madison and I are both over the age of 21 and everything we're doing is legal in Chicago. Please drink responsibly.
You're kidding.
You're kidding. Hey guys, before we start the episode this week, I just wanted to pop in and talk about why it might not sound like all our other ones. This is a never-before-heard Lord of the Rings themed episode that we recorded for a fantasy lit class I was in, and this was all before we decided to officially do the podcast together. I hope you enjoy.
So I've retrieved a glass of actual sparkling grape juice, not even wine. It's like real sparkling grape juice.
I am still working on my barefoot white wine.
Was there a Riesling?
I don't know, honestly. It's a Moscato.
I love
deliciously
a Riesling.
sweet.
Okay, sorry.
Gotta love it.
This is me. Oh my god, we have to hurry up. We're running out of time. This is me. So this is the kind of drink I have. It's really cute. It's in this glass. Anyway.
Okay,
Hurry up.
So, Madison. No. Okay, so Gandalf and Pippin, right? They're heading away because they're sort of trying to throw everyone off. Sauron thinks that, Sauron thinks that Pippin has the. Thank you. That Pippin has the ring, right? So Gandalf and Pippin are like, let's go towards Minas Tirith, right? Because that's Gondor, not Mordor.
Yes.
And so they're going, and it's this like big ass city, and Gandalf and Pippin go in there, and the king, whose name is Denethor, or he's not the king, he's the lord,
Oh, that's a
right?
good name.
Yeah.
Oh, but he's bad.
He's evil, but yeah.
Yeah.
Because Dennis.
Yeah, Dennis.
So Denethor is like only talking to Pippin, and he's like really kind of excluding Gandalf, and Gandalf's like, hey, what about me? And then Denethor's like, I think you have bad intentions and you're toxic. And Gandalf's like, what's wrong with you? Like, what the heck? And he's like, I'm keeping this throne until the true king of Gondor is here. And Gandalf's like, all right, weird argument. We both don't trust each other. Okay. But Pippin really likes Denethor, and he's like, can I be in your army? I pledge my sword to you.
I pledge my sword to you,
bro. And Denethor's like, yeah, dude, like, you can totally be, like, my little servant. Not, like, servant.
You can totally be like me.
You can totally follow me around and, like, do things for me. And then, so, like, Pippin meets some friends in the guard, and they're, like, learning all these codes and, like, things about the city. And then they, like, look out and they see this, like, darkness coming, right? And everyone's like, oh my god. And all the friends he's made are like, oof, we're probably gonna die. Oof. Oh god. Oh no. Oofta. We might not make it to the end of this.
This is a book. Someone has to die.
Well, plenty of people
Yeah.
No, but so, there are these people, Dol Amroth, like, this, like, army comes, but it's not as many people as they were hoping for, right? They come to Minas Tirith to meet up with all these guys, and they're like, it just, like, gets really dark out, and Gandalf's like, oh, God, well, the darkness has begun, right? Like, it's dark out now because it's evil.
Yeah.
And then you go over to Aragorn, Gimli, and Legolas, and Merry, and Theoden, and the Riders of Rohan, who are doing something else right now. Because Merry and Gandalf went off to throw off their scent, while everyone else went towards Gondor, right? So they're kind of, like, following behind, but, like, going a little, like, differently.
All these kingdom names are the same.
I know. So they meet up with...
Ondor. Which one? I don't know.
Gondor?
Yeah, I'm just making, like, they're all Ondor,
Mordor, Gondor, yeah.
Or whatever,
the Ors.
yeah.
I know,
Door.
it's too similar for me. I'm far too... I get my brain right now.
Me always,
it's so much.
Yeah, take a sip.
So they meet up with the sons of Elrond, right? These elves, these guys. Mm-hmm. And they're like, we're gonna help you. And they get to this place called Helm's Deep. And Theoden is like, Merry, I want you to come with me. And we're gonna go around this, like, Safeway. And then, like, Safeway the store. Those are big in Seattle. They're like, we're gonna go the safe route.
Oh my god.
And then Aragorn and Gimli and Legolas are gonna go through this place called I I don't know, it's like this evil name. This evil forest of the dead, right? And Mary's like, I pledge myself to the riders of Rohan. So he's like pledging himself to Theoden.
I'll pledge myself.
I pledge myself. Aragorn uses the sphere ball thing, and he reveals his identity to Sauron, and his true identity is that he is the king of Gondor. So Aragorn is more than just a regular man. This whole time he's been a king that's been prophesized, and he just wasn't telling anybody.
What?
Yeah, and so he's like, hey Sauron, I'm the king. And then Sauron's like, fuck. And he's like, we gotta send some people over to Minas Tirith to like fight, right? Because we gotta take these guys out.
What the fuck?
And so, they go this long way, and then it's the Path of the Dead. That's the path that Aragorn and Gimli and Legolas go. It's this giant like place called the Path of the Dead, and there's all of these like undead beings in there. And Aragorn like does some magic shit or something, or he like commands some things, and he's like, "I'm the king," and all of the dead.
I'm the king. Apparently, I'm the king now. Oh my god.
So he's like, I'm the king, follow me. And then all the dead people are like, yeah, dude. And they follow him, and they follow him out of the woods into this place, and they're like, okay, well, we'll fight in this war. We'll follow you. And he just like gets all these like undead soldiers to like follow him. And they're like really cool, and they're like, we'll do this for you. It's really sick. And then Aragorn like publicly announces himself to the world. He's like, I am the king, you know, because he's like told Sauron or whatever, but now he's like, world, I am the king. I'm coming to Minas Tirith to reclaim my throne or whatever.
What a weird way to be a king, like to become a king.
Yeah, I mean, he's like still kind of secretive about it, even though he publicly announces it. He like like later in the book he like comes back and like tries to disguise himself, but then they're like, we know you're the king.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like really weird. But so then it like goes over to the story of Theoden and Merry, right? Who went the long way because they didn't want to go through the dead place because they were like, we don't want to die.
Yeah.
And so they go the long way, and on their way they meet up with Éowyn, who's this, I think the daughter of somebody important. Maybe Theoden, I don't know. She's a daughter of somebody important. And she's like, I want to fight. And they're like, no. You are a woman.
No, you could never fight.
You are weak.
You're a woman.
You're a woman. You're not a girl boss.
Not a girl. Not yet a woman. We just watched Crossroads, I'm sorry.
Oh my god. And Éowyn is actually played by Britney Spears. So,
oh my god, that would be iconic.
That would be,
I
that would
love
be crazy.
Her.
And so, yeah, so they meet up with Éowyn at Dunharrow, which is just like a fortress. Dunharrow, maybe. It's like a fortress. And Theoden is like telling everybody about like what the Path of the Dead is, then like what everyone's going through. And then he gets this emergency message, and he's like, okay, well, we have to send 6,000 of our men to Isengard was it to Isengard or to... No, to Minas Tirith. We already did the Isengard thing. Saruman is gone in the past. He's like, we need to send 6,000 riders to Minas Tirith to defend the forces of Sauron that are coming, because that's where the battle's happening. And that's the best I can explain all the politics of that. So they're like, we gotta send our riders out. And he sends a guy to like warn Minas Tirith, like, we're sending our men, so like look out for us, right? Don't worry, we're coming. And then the next morning there's no sun in the sky anymore.
Oh my god.
And everyone's like, oh my god. And Theoden is like, Merry, you cannot come with us. We're going to Minas Tirith, but you have to stay here because we cannot be lugging around a hobbit. Yeah. And Mary's like, what the fuck? Like, I get it, but what the fuck? And so he's like kind of rude. But then there's this soldier who like comes up to him and is like, hey, you want me to take you? He's like, put on some armor. I got you. And Merry like doesn't know who it is. And he like introduces himself as like, I don't remember his name. It's some long name, as they always are. But it's this random soldier, and he like takes him with him. And then it like goes back. I know, I just like had to take a moment. So it goes back to Pippin, right? Who's already in Minas Tirith and has pledged himself to the royal guard of Denethor, right? And Denethor is like, getting a little weird about things. And, Faramir is like, hey, Gandalf, Frodo and Sam were headed this way. And then Denethor is like, oh, so you didn't get the ring from them? And he gets, like, really mad. And he's like, Denethor is Faramir and Boromir's dad.
Yes.
And he's like, if Boromir were still alive, he would have gotten me the ring. And then it's like, because Boromir's being so weird about getting the ring in the beginning, because they're both kind of corrupt. And Faramir's like, I was never going to give you the ring. Like, that's so weird. Like, I'm not on your side for that. It's like this weird little thing. And then Gandalf is like, hey, fuck you, dude. And just, like, is an excuse to, like, fight Denethor again, because he does not like him. And so he's like, hey, you have no business telling anyone what to do. You know what I mean? And then Pippin and Gandalf are like, hear rumors that, like, Gollum is leading Sam and Frodo, or, like, was, you know? Mm-hmm. And he's like, I don't think that's good, but maybe we can trust him, even though he's, like, consistently let us down. Maybe we can trust him. And so this, like, a fleeting thought. And then they, like, there's, like, a battle, and, like, Gandalf is, like, really kicking ass. Mm-hmm. He's got his cool horse, and he's just killing a lot of people.
Something.
Shadowfax.
Shadowfax.
And he's, like, really doing, like,
Show me the Shadowfax.
Carfax. Oh my god. And then Faramir gets hit by a poison arrow and he dies. That's not true. He just gets injured.
Oh my god.
But Sauron's
I'm so
army.
excited for a character death.
Sauron's army is like launching the head of dead soldiers from their side.
Oh, yeah,
like
yes.
the other, and
the
like
dead soldier. I forgot that they.
No, like soldiers that they had killed, not the dead army. They're not there yet. They're still with Aragorn. This is just the people of Minas Tirith. And so they're like using, the orcs are like killing people and then using the heads of the people of Minas Tirith on fire and launching those into the city. And so everyone's freaking out.
What the fuck?
It's really gross and everyone's freaking out.
I'm like, that's kind of smart.
Yeah, I know. It's kind of like, I was like, ooh, all right, come on, Art of War.
Art of War.
So, it's like really creepy. And then the riders of Rohan, 6,000 strong, are like, hey, dude, we're here. Time to kick some ass, dude. And so then it goes back. And it goes back to the riders' journey before they got to Minas Tirith. Yeah, well, we're going to like what happened along the way when they were on their way.
Oh my god!
Just and so tell me when
you're on your way.
Well, so Mary's like, I feel like a burden because I'm so small and tiny, and they have to carry me around. But it's like fine, like no one actually thinks that they're a burden. And then there's these thing called the Wozes that I don't really know how to like describe. And they're like, we can take you through places where orcs aren't, the places that aren't blocked off on the path. And they're like, all right, we trust you. So they follow the Wozes, and then they get to this place, and the Wozes are like, we will not help you anymore. Goodbye, we've taken you this far. And then they like leave, and that's all you hear of them.
Oh, okay.
And like, Minas Tirith is like kind of destroyed because there's this like kind of like battle happening, and Theoden like gets a little upset about that. But like there's this Nazgul lord, right, who's like the skeleton man, and he's like facing off with Gandalf a little bit, and then he like is like, I'm joining the main battle, and he like goes down to like where all the 6,000 people and then the allies of Mordor are fighting, I think. And then a horse falls on Theoden and kills him for real. Like a horse falls on him and he dies.
What?
And then it turns out that the soldier that had picked up Merry and like brought him to this battle is Éowyn, who's Theoden's daughter, and she dies after killing the Nazgul creature.
Yes.
And then she comes back to life. She's like not actually dead.
Yeah,
like a few sentences later. So like there's a lot of like death and like also not death. But Theoden is dead and Éowyn almost died but is not dead. And then the armies are like kind of beating Mordor, and then they see these ships on the horizon and they're like, oh shit. Mordor sent more reinforcements. We're fucked. And then, surprise, it's Aragorn and his army of the dead. And they're like, we're gonna fuck it up. And so they come down and they start fighting. So there's more people on the Allies side. And they sort of like kick ass and they defeat this like sort of battle that is the armies of Mordor and Gondor. And then there's so much more. And so then Pippin has grabbed Gandalf during this battle and is like, Denethor is doing some weird shit, we gotta go. And Denethor is trying to, like, light Faramir on fire. And he's like, we gotta kill him. And he's, like, making these weird decisions, and everyone's like, stop it. And he, like, killed a few other people. And then he, like, they get in this skirmish with Gandalf, and then Denethor, like, lights himself on fire. And he just, like, dies because he lights himself on fire. And he's, like, going crazy because he, like, wants the ring and is just, like, evil. So he, like, dies. And then Aragorn and Gandalf have this, like, meeting with some leaders, and they're like, we gotta go right to Mordor because Frodo's gotta go in the back way, and we gotta distract Sauron from finding Frodo. So we had this battle in Minas Tirith, and now we have to go have another battle in Mordor.
Okay, yeah.
To distract from the ring that is traveling through with Frodo. Mm-hmm. So 7,000 people head towards Mordor, and then Merry stays behind because he hurt his arm in the battle.
Why didn't they just go straight to Mordor?
Well, that was Frodo's plan all along.
Yeah.
But there was some complications, admittedly.
Yeah.
You know, there's this the TikTok where they do, like, the books, and it's, like, the series.
Yes.
There's this one that's, like, Lord of the Rings taking the ring to Mordor or whatever.
Yeah.
And then it's, like, Lord of the Rings if Sam and Frodo kissed. And it's, like, super short.
Yeah.
I really love that. So it's, like, a bunch of people heading towards Mordor, and then they, like, give out this battle cry, and then it's just silent. And they're like, oh, that was kind of creepy. I don't like that. Ooh, but they, like, keep going. And then they have to, like, because they're, like, heading to Mordor.
I guess,
like,
yeah,
you know?
like, what else are you gonna do?
And so they, like, go, and they, like, split in two, and, like, I don't know all the names, but a representative from each race sort of goes in, like, on one side, and then it's, like, the army sort of split up, and they, like, go, and it's, like, the members of each race are just sort of, like, the main characters, so it's, like, your Gandalf, your Aragorn, your Gimli, like, the two people, sons of Elrond, I don't know, the people like that. Pippin is up there, too. And so they go and they, like, call for Sauron, and these, like, guys in cloaks come up, and they're like, hey, sisters, what we have to do is we want you to stop fighting and, like, pledge yourself to Sauron, and then we won't kill Frodo. And they have Frodo's clothes because they took him off of him when they captured him, like, the orcs had captured him who were working for Mordor. Mm-hmm. So, like, we have his clothes, we have Frodo captured, and Gandalf's like, oh, crap, well, did we lose? You know what I mean? Because they have him. And then Gandalf gets this, like, really threatening stance, and he's like, no, I will never pledge myself to Mordor. That's stupid. And then the group of dudes in cloaks are like, ooh, peace out, and they, like, leave. And then this whole army runs out of, like, the gates of Mordor, and they're like, time for war, essentially. And that's the end of the first half. Oh, and Pippin gets crushed by a troll. And then that's the end of the first half. And he hears this thing that's like, the eagles are coming. And then
The eagles. The eagles are coming.
And so, then...
Jesus Christ.
This is the final stretch.
Oh my
of the story.
God, so much has happened.
Well, so we're back to Sam and Frodo, right? Who are taking the ring to Mount Doom.
Yes.
To destroy it. And Sam is like, I don't know what to... Car alarm. Excuse me.
Whoa. We're busy.
So Sam was like, I don't know what to do. Like, these orcs have my guy, and I need to, like, do something about this. But I can't go by myself because I can't leave him behind. And so he starts to, like, go towards the main gate. He's like, I'm just gonna go through the front. And then he, like, puts on the ring, and he starts feeling like, oh, what if I was just Sam the powerful, and I, like, used the ring to be super powerful? And then he's like, no, I'm a farmer. I'm a simple man.
No.
I don't want this. And he, like, takes it off, and he, like, freaks out about it. And then he, like, goes through the front entrance, and he sees all these dead bodies of orcs, and, like, he has this, like, sword drawn, and there's these rumors going through the orcs that, like, there's this elf on the loose, because he has this elven blade, but he's, like, not actually an elf, but it kind of harkens back to, like, how much he loves elves and magic, and now he's known as, like, this elf man who's, like, but he's just, like, a hobbit, you know, but he's, like, kind of, like, magical. And so he's, like, going through, and everyone's sort of afraid of the presence of the ring, because it's, like, super powerful, because it's so close to Sauron, you know, because it's, like, meant for him, you know. So everyone's, like, super scared of him. and then he like says something out loud, and then there's this orc that's like, oh shit, was that Frodo? Like, did Frodo escape? And so she like goes to like check on Frodo, and Sam follows and like finds Frodo. And Frodo wakes up and he's like, what the fuck? Give me the ring. Are you trying to steal it from me? And he's like super mean.
Oh my,
and then
what?
Sam's like, what the hell? And then like Frodo takes the ring back, and then he's like, oh, I'm really sorry about that, man. I didn't mean that.
What?
Because it's just like so corrupt. It's like corrupting him. You know?
Oh, okay.
But he's like being rude as fuck. And so they're like, okay, well, let's go. And so they dress as orcs and they go off. And then on their journey, they get like stopped and like forced into an orc army because the orcs think that they're orcs. And so they're like, come with us to this battle at the gates of Mordor. And they're like, okay. And then they like sneak off by hiding behind a rock. And then they like continue on their journey. Yeah. It's like a whole thing. And then they're like going, and they're so close to the Eye of Sauron that they can see it. And it's this like giant thing. Oh. And it like is, at this point, Aragorn had touched the ball thing to reveal himself as...
Yes, the king.
The king. And so it was like everything was like moving around, and like Sam had used the ring, and so like it was like looking. And it like, it didn't look directly at them, but like the gaze passed over them. And like Frodo freaks out, and he has this like anxiety attack. And then like Sam like holds his hand and like calms him down because they're boyfriends.
Yeah.
And it's like really cute, but like Frodo's like really weak, and like he feels this like weight bearing on him from the ring. He's like, I don't want to do this anymore. Like, I'm so tired. Like, well, he like still wants to do it, but he's just like, I'm so tired of all this. And he's like physically exhausted. They haven't eaten or like drank water in a really long time. And then Gollum comes and he's like, I'm back, bitches. And then he tries to like kill Frodo. And Frodo's like, no, dude, because he's like, Gollum's like, I want the ring. You know?
Oh my god. This ring is so much trouble.
I mean, it is the Lord of the Rings, one could say.
Oh my god.
And so they're like fighting, and they're like almost to the top of Mount Doom. They're like so close, and there's like orcs following them. It's just like there's this whole thing. And they get to the top, and Frodo is about to take it and like throw it in, and then he goes, you know what, I've changed my mind. And then he puts it on, and he's like, I'm not. And he tries to like disappear. And then Gollum is like, no fucking way. That is
You really think that's what you're gonna do?
Yeah.
That's what he said.
Yeah, he said, excuse me?
You really thought
Yeah.
you could just get away with it?
No. And so he bites on him, and he bites his finger off, dude. Bites his...
In the ring?
Yeah, to get the ring.
Does he swallow it?
No, he gets it, and he's like, hell yeah. And then he backs up, and then he falls into Mount Doom. And he dies, and the ring falls into Mount Doom, and the ring is destroyed. And then it's like everything starts shaking, and then like the Nazgul people are like, poof, you know, like dead. And then the sun comes out again, and then they like defeat the army in Minas Tirith, and like Frodo and Sam are like, I'm glad that we did this together. Like, I love you. And they like confess their love for each other.
Wow. That's the gayest thing I've ever
I
heard.
know, but they're like completely platonic about it, but they're like, I love you. It's just like,
definitely gay.
You know what I mean?
In the best way. Yeah, it should be gay.
Yeah, it's absolutely crazy. And so they wake up, the eagles are coming. It's like there are these eagles that like came and like rescue, like reinforcements, right? And the eagles, there are a couple of the eagles, they're these giant birds. Not just like eagle-sized eagles, like giant-ass birds.
Yeah.
They like came and they went to Mordor, and they picked up Sam, and they picked up Frodo, and they brought him back to Gondor, to Minas Tirith, right? And everyone's back there, and they wake up, and they're like, oh shit, we did it. We saved the day. Like, our journey is complete. They have this big-ass feast, and they, like, meet the king of Gondor, who is Aragorn, and Aragorn's like, hell yeah, but then he, like, it's like, I'm gonna go out in the city to, like, pretend that I'm not the king yet, because I'm nervous about it.
Oh my god.
Goes out in the city, and then they're like, everybody's dying, and the only person in the prophecy or whatever who can, like, heal is like the king of Gondor. And then Aragorn's like, oh, well, I'm the king of Gondor, I'll heal everybody. So he starts healing everybody, and like word gets out that he's this like cool dude. And they're like, we love this. And there's like this old dead tree that's like in the middle of Minas Tirith that like is part of this fountain. They like take it away, and they plant this like new tree to like represent like Aragorn's like new kingdom or whatever. And then they like, the rest of the book, there's like still more. The rest of the book is them going on this like victory tour, essentially.
Not a victory
of places
tour.
they've already been. again. So they go back to Rivendell and they see Bilbo again, and then some people are like, okay, well, goodbye, I'm not gonna, because it's like everyone's trying, the hobbits, the main hobbits, are trying to go back to the Shire. So along the way they like stop, and then the people who were in the Fellowship that survived are like breaking off and like doing things, And so they like go on this victory tour, and they stop in and see Bilbo because he's old, and then they stop in Rohan to like honor like the people who died, and they see Treebeard, who's an Ent,
yeah,
and he's like, hey, here's the tea. Like, we were supposed to be guarding Saruman. They like imprisoned him with Wormtongue. And they were like, but we let them go. And so he's like, what the hell? You know what I mean? And so Gandalf is like mad, but then he sees them when they're like walking, they're like going home, and he sees them looking like just like pitiful. And then he realizes that like Saruman doesn't even have his magic anymore. He's just like this old man now. Because Gandalf like essentially like destroyed his magic. Prison. I know, but he's like, whatever, y'all are old and gross. And then Saruman's like, I hate you for that. I hate you for pitying me and like being so weird about it. And so they like have this like yelling matching, but Gandalf is like, peace out. And then
oh my god. This is crazy.
I know.
I can't believe that wasn't the end already.
I know, literally. And so what happens next? Oh, Jesus. So then they like see they're back in Rivendell, and it's Bilbo's birthday again. And so this is the second birthday. We're back in September, but it's his 129th birthday. Mm-hmm. So we've passed however many years from 111th since the story started.
Damn.
And then they like go back to the inn that they were at where Frodo originally did the oopsie, and they met Strider.
The oopsie.
And they meet the guy who works there, and they're like, hey, we're famous now, and like a lot of people come and they're like, we thank you for saving us, we love you. And it's like this fans of ours coming through, and then
literally fan service, but for fake people.
No, literally. And then Gandalf is like, okay, well, I'm not gonna go to the Shire with you, like I'm going off on my own adventure. And they're like, okay. And then they get to the Shire, dude, and it's gated, and they're like, we're not letting you in. And the Shire has turned into a police state.
You're kidding.
And it's run by gangs and cops.
Oh my god.
And they're like, there's this guy named like Sharktooth or something who's like in charge here. No. And they're like, what the fuck? So they sneak over the fence. They like get into the Shire, and they're like, we're looking for this guy. They see the oldest hobbit in the city named Farmer Cotton. Right? And Farmer Cotton's like, oh my god, this is where the guy is. You need to go see the gang leader. They go over. It's Saruman. He's pretending like he still has magic to lead a police state over the hobbits.
My god.
And all the hobbits are scared of him. And Frodo's like, we're not going to kill him, but you gotta go. You gotta go. And Saruman's like, no. Like, at least have the decency to kill me. And he like tries to like attack everybody. And then he's like, well, Wormtongue did all this bad stuff. And Wormtongue's like, what the fuck, no. And then Saruman, like, kicks him, and it's, like, really rude to him. And Saruman's like, fuck you. And he stabs him. And he kills him. He kills Saruman. And then, because he, like, was, like, wielding a knife, Wormtongue gets killed by some hobbits. He, like, gets some arrows stuck in him. And they die. And then they restore peace to the Shire because it's no longer a police state because they killed...
Yeah.
They killed Saruman, finally. And then Sam plants his seed that he got from Galadriel in the first book. And I know plants his seed. It's really funny.
I just made the funniest face.
And they like rebuild the Shire again. And Sam gets married to a woman. And Frodo does not get married.
You're kidding.
Deadass. Farmer Cotton's daughter.
What the but they're gay.
I know, and they have a kid together, and Frodo's like, I am leaving, and he goes off by himself.
And you know why? Because he said, this is just like Little Ashes.
Exactly. It's actually, he ripped it off from Little Ashes.
Yep.
But yeah, so then Frodo's like, I'm going off. They see Bilbo one more time, and he's like, peace out, I'm going off with Gandalf. And then Sam's like, all right, I got my wife. Good to be back home. And that's the end. Okay, guys, I hope you enjoyed that. You can follow us on Instagram and Twitter and
TikTok, but I don't know what those are off the top of my head because Madison usually does that. But if you're on YouTube, they're on the screen. You can find all of our stuff at linktr.ee/you're kidding. linktr.ee/you're kidding. You can find our Patreon. You can find our podcast episodes. You can find our social media. Thank you for listening. We love you. We love our patrons. Okay, bye.
You're kidding.